back again with another clip. Today we're going to show you the stamp positioner. First of all, I'm going to use the circle scissor in a slightly different way. I want to actually draw a circle this time rather than cut one. So I'm just simply going to slot my pencil into the 4 1/4 inch place there, and I'm just going to go around and let the tool do the work, and I come up with a perfect circle. Okay. This is because I want to do some positioning of my stamp, so I want to create a circle of sunflowers. This is your stamp positioner. It's an acrylic L and an acrylic rectangle, which looks quite strange, but it's a fabulous little tool. And every crafter, every stamper should own one of these. I'm just going to move that paper out of the way, and I'm going to place this on my stamping mat. I always use my stamping mat when I'm using stamps. I'm just going to make sure that the rectangle, the Perspex rectangle, is in the corner of the Perspex L. That's really important before I start stamping. Then I'm going to take a nice little sentiment stamp from Inkadoo, and I'm going to ink it up using the Clearly Better inks from the paper company. Even though they are made specifically for clear stamps, you can use them on your regular wooden stamps too. So what I need to do now is make sure that the corner of my stamp is in the corner of the L, and just stamp it down onto my acrylic rectangle. There you go, I'll just show you that. There you go, so you can see your sentiment now is on that acrylic rectangle. So what I'm going to do now is just bring back into play this piece of paper, and I'm going to position this sentiment into the centre of the circle. Now if I was doing this without the stamp positioner, I would never be sure just where it was going to be, because I can't see through the wood. It's different with clear stamps, but with wooden stamps this is fabulous. So I'm going to now bring in the L back into play. I'm going to make sure that the acrylic rectangle is lined up into the corner of my L like I did when I first stamped it. Remove that out of the way, re-ink my stamp, and then I'm going to make sure again that the corner of my stamp is in the corner of the L, and I will get it in a perfect position. Just give it a press, lift your stamp off. There you go, got that centrally in that circle. So what I'm going to do now is bring into play another stamp. This is a sunflower stamp from Inkadoo also. I'm just going to clean off my Perspex. This is why it's important not to use a permanent ink like a StazOn on your stamp positioner, otherwise you won't be able to wipe it off. You'll have to use a stamp cleaner. So what I'm going to do now is do exactly the same thing. Just going to bring this back into here, make sure it's lined up to the corner of my L, and I'm going to ink up my sunflower. Now you'll see the detail in the centre of the sunflower. What I want to do is just rub my ink over that to make sure that all the detail picks up the ink. So I just tend to rub around on my stamp, and then lots of light tapping. Again, make sure that the sunflower is lined up into the corner of the L and stamp it down. Okay, so I've now got the sunflower stamped onto my Perspex, and I'm going to use the circle as a guide. So I'm going to place the arc of the circle into the centre of the sunflower. Bring back my L. If it moves when you're working with it, that's okay, just go back and reposition it. Again, ink up my stamp, corner of the stamp into the corner of the L, press down, lift it off, and I've got my sunflower in a perfect position. Okay, don't worry about the pencil, you can go back over afterwards and redo that, rub it out rather. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just pre-stamped 4 sunflowers, one on each side, north, south, east and west. Okay. What I want to do now is use a masking product, which is coming in very soon from Inkadoo. It's called Stamp Masking Paper, okay, and it's a very smooth paper. It absorbs the ink. So rather than using a film, which a lot of people use for their masks, where when you stamp over the top of the mask the ink stays wet, this actually absorbs the ink. So when you're taking the mask off your project, you don't get ink all over your fingers, and that doesn't transfer onto your work. So it's a nice product to have. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the sunflower stamp and I've stamped it twice onto the masking paper and I've cut them out. So what I'm going to do now is just take the backing off these. They've got a slight adhesive to the back of them, but not too sticky that it's going to spoil your paper. And I'm just going to line this up and cover over this sunflower that I've just stamped, because what I want to do now is stamp a sunflower in between these two. I'm going to make a continual circle going all the way around. Okay, so I'm just going to position this one too. You must remember to put your masks on. The number of times I've positioned something perfectly and then stamped it and thought, oh, I haven't put the mask on. Okay, so I'm just going to angle my paper. I'm going to bring in this sunflower again. And I'm going to line it up to where I want it to be. Bring back in my L, and you can see now where this comes really into its own, because I'm working on odd angles. I'm going to remove that out of the way. Take this again, ink it up. Make sure that the corner of that is in the corner of my L and stamp it down. Okay, remove that, and then what I'm going to do is just carefully take off the masks, the paper masks. You can reuse these over and over and over again, just until they've lost the sticky. I probably had these 3 or 4 weeks now and probably use them on a daily basis. I've been teaching classes with these and they're still great to use. You just pop them back onto their backing and keep them stored with your stamp. Okay, so that's the masks. So there you can see now that we've got the 2 top and left sunflowers and then this sunflower in the centre. Okay, so then what I would do is just continue to go around the circle so you end up with a ring of sunflowers. Colour them in with your Copic or your Pro markers, whichever you prefer. I will put the colours of the Copic markers on at the end of this clip so that you know which ones you've used. And then this is the card that I've produced by using this technique. So as you can see, I've used a sentiment in the centre, stamped all the way around with the sunflowers. I then stamped 4 more and just decoupaged them. Coloured the centres of the decoupage sunflowers in with a little bit of glaze, and then I've used a large punch from EK Success. It's the flower and leaf punch. I've used the mini daisy punch, and I've used the Rock Fern punch too. I've also then used the it's a circle of dots, a punch, and I've punched those out of brown card and stuck them using the Jonestones paper glue into the centre of the flowers, which I have to say the students on my class yesterday thought was very funny. It's just normal for me, but they thought that was very funny that I'd actually done that. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that and we'll see you soon. Bye.